This edition of Dolphins Today is made possible by Kinzuri, the height-boosting shoes designed to help your dating game. You guys get 15% off when you go to kinzuri.com/chat as we break down an entire show dedicated to Jonathan Taylor and a potential trade to the Miami Dolphins after the trade request had been made by Taylor earlier this weekend, or I should say last weekend, I guess, since it is Monday now. I'm sure you saw, it was pretty big NFL news, but Jonathan Taylor and the Colts fighting over his contract and extension, and just in general, the 2023 status for Jonathan Taylor. Some injuries maybe at play here. Background is Taylor wants to get paid. He wants top of the previous market running back money, which so far has not really been happening for backs. The Colts don't want to pay him. Taylor requested a trade. Colts said no. Doesn't really matter. That's led to speculation. The Dolphins have been linked heavily with his agent, Taylor's agent, even liking tweets saying he should end up with the Miami Dolphins. We'll go in-depth, pros, cons, what a trade could look like here. If news happens on it, you know we will have a video for you. We did one on the Eli Apple signing, even though it wasn't in the office. It was done in my aunt's guest room because I was out of town. But we made it happen anyway. Hit that sub button for more free Dolphins videos. I think it's important to look at the overall situation here because it is messy in Indy right now. Taylor wants a massive new contract. We'll break down what the money looks like. He was, quote-unquote, visibly unhappy in the running back Zoom meeting that went on. Owner Jim Irsay has been subtweeting him, calling him out, making public comments that did not go over well. The agent's been clapping back, which also did not go over well from the Dolphins' standpoint. Taylor requested a trade. The Colts publicly said no. Then the latest report is that Taylor was currently on the physically unable to report list, or physically unable to perform list, with a foot issue from lower body issue from last year's season. Well, now the claim is that he said that he has a back issue that he suffered away from the team, and the Colts could put him on the NFI list, which, by the way, would be a pretty big deal because it would allow Indy to not pay him if he spends the entire year on the non-football injury list, and his contract would toll, so he wouldn't be a free agent next year. Taylor has since disputed that, but this is a mess. This is one of the fastest deteriorating, at least public viewpoint, I think it's been going on for a while behind the scenes, situations we've seen in a while, and it really does feel like, whether it's now or in a month or at the trade deadline or next year, a divorce is coming for Taylor and the Colts. Now, the Dolphins have been heavily speculated as a fit for Taylor, and that is in part because his agent, who has been maybe not playing nice with the team either, leading to some of the own issues. He's been liking tweets, which are public, by the way, about the Miami Dolphins and being traded there. All of that leads to a lot of speculation on Taylor and on the Dolphins, especially since the team has shown interest in other backs. So prediction time. Will the Dolphins trade for Jonathan Taylor? Y for yes, N for no. This is today's pinned comment. If the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Let's talk trading for Taylor here. Some pros and cons, right? The big pros are you're adding a top 3 running back in the NFL. For an offense that had a bit of a tough time running the football from a volume perspective last year, Taylor's a significant upgrade, and it continues your current MO of being aggressive to try to win football games right now. The cons are, A, the Colts don't want to trade him, at least they say that publicly, which means they're going to have a high asking price if they do have trade conversations. Taylor wants a massive contract, as we'll get into, and oh, by the way, the Dolphins do have other players they're going to want to pay in the not-too-distant future. But for some of the positives here, he's a good football player. JT is one of the better backs in the NFL. He's been very productive from that perspective. He's been impactful. He's been a standout player from that perspective. We'll break it all down here more in depth in a moment. But first, today's show is made possible by Kinzuri. If you ever wished you were a little bit taller, maybe you matched on Tinder, but her profile says must be over 6 foot. Maybe your date wants to wear heels, but she can't because it'll make her taller than you. We've got short kings covered with today's sponsor, Kinzuri. Kinsuri makes shoes that can add up to 2.8 inches to your height without anyone knowing. Girls get heels, makeup, push-up bras. Why can't men get a confidence boost as well? We're all the same height lying down, if you know what we mean, right? Kinsuri shoes are not just height boosting, but also stylish and comfortable. They're not grandpa's Velcro shoes, but fashionable shoes that can receive compliments even without the height increase. The height insoles are integrated into the shoes, making it the ultimate height hack. For a limited time, you guys get an extra 15% off your order at kinsuri.com/chat. The site is already 30% off. With our link, you get an extra 15. If you can't do math, that's 45% off your entire order. Support our show and check them out at conzuri.com/chat. Life is short, but you guys don't have to be. Level the playing field. You have to hit that dating profile to 6 foot. Links in the comments section and the description of today's show. Taylor's numbers over the course of his NFL career, even especially last year, not being on a very good football team, have been very valuable. He had a down year last year, and he still averaged 4.5 yards per carry, which is a lot better than what most players do. Remember, he did lead the NFL in 2021 in carries, yards, touchdowns, yards per game, yards from scrimmage, total touchdowns, all that stuff. Like, he was very impactful, or rushing, I should say, touchdowns, very impactful in his brief NFL career. The Dolphins do have some pieces, though, at running back. I think if you entered the year with this is your group, if you don't end up getting Dalvin Cook, you don't trade for JT, you don't add another veteran back, this is a good enough group for the type of offense that the Dolphins run, where you don't have to have a premium back, although, those guys can be impactful. Let's talk now about what the trade could look like here, where things sit. Here's what Stephen Holder, the Colts beat writer for ESPN, wrote about a trade. The Colts, according to a source with direct knowledge of conversations, would be seeking an early round draft pick. That might be tough given the current climate about the value of backs. I would agree. I think it would be tough to expect a premium pick back. Now, Bleacher Report had a trade idea we'll break down here. Early round pick is a bit vague. I view it as second round pick. Otherwise, it would have been specified first. Late day 2 pick would have been a third. So I think early round pick is a second rounder. You throw in Myles Gaskin. Yeah, I think that's an offer that if Indy is just like, screw it, we're done, and we're not dealing with this anymore, maybe it could make some sense. Although Indy is playing hardball with Taylor. Jim Irsay texted this to Albert Breer, when asked about a trade, says, "We're not trading Jonathan. End of discussion. Not now and not in October." Something has to give here at some point for Taylor and the Colts, so that he shows up and says, okay, I'm going to play, or the Dolphins try to sit him, or they trade him, whatever. There's also this angle as it relates to the Dolphins. Is it the right move for them to make? So do you want to trade Jonathan Taylor? T for trade or P for pass in the comment section. The money is the big thing here. The highest paid running back. We've shown this graphic a lot on a bunch of different shows here at Chat Sports, including Dolphins Today, over the past 4 or 5 months, right? It has changed significantly. The franchise tag players are almost top 5, which does not happen really ever in terms of the per year numbers. Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara are significant outliers right now. Derrick Henry's in the last year of his deal. Nick Chubb has actually played pretty well. They've given him some lighter workload. JT allegedly wants more of the Alvin Kamara-ish contract. He wants at least $14 million or somewhere in that range per year, which is an outlier deal when no one's getting paid right now. Miles Sanders was the biggest running back contract given out this offseason. Pollard, Barkley, Jacobs all playing on the franchise tag. Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, they all took pay cuts. And the guaranteed money is also a big factor here. You can probably get a $13 million per year offer, but you're not going to be getting more than maybe $26 million guaranteed. And that's probably pushing it. That was the issue for Saquon and the Giants, that the franchise tag is kind of staring down $25-ish million next 2 years, but no one's getting more guaranteed money than, 20-ish million. Miles Sanders got 13. Bijan Robinson, a rookie on a rookie contract, is 4th among highest paid backs. The market is really, really bad, and it might not get any better because next offseason, The free agent class, as it is about to be broken down, is very much in favor of the buyers, not so much the players themselves. Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, Austin Eckler, J.K. Dobbins, DeAndre Swift, it's Saquon Taylor. Like, all these guys are due for new deals. They might not all get tagged. If they do get tagged, they're not available, but the market is going to be a buyer's market where you're not going to see 8 giant contracts given out. You might only see 1 or 2, if that. That's going to lead to some value for teams, and it's why the teams don't want to pay back big money right now. Plus, for Miami, you got your own guys that you do want to be worried about. And does paying back, 10, 11, 12, 13, $14 million per year, does that fit with what they want to do? Christian Wilkins, Robert Hunt, Connor Williams, maybe a Zach Sieler. Guys like Jevon Holland, Jalen Phillips, Jaylen Waddle all become extension eligible after this upcoming season. Plus maybe Tua, as long as he's healthy. So the paying of a back might not be long-term, at least might not be what Miami wants to do. And, of course, there's the Dalvin Cook situation here. He remains unsigned. Dolphins don't seem to be very interested. I think maybe if they get him cheap, that would make more sense than Jonathan Taylor. But because of just the trickiness of having to pay for a back, both money and draft capital, I'd be surprised if he ended up in Miami.